The movie starts by showing us a bunch of beautiful landscapes. Then we get to see a painting that looks just as good as what we just watched. Gerda Regine is looking at this painting. She is at an art show, and someone tells her that her painting is not as great as her husband's, who made the painting she was admiring. The person running the gallery says that Gerda's husband, Einar Wegener, is one of the very talented artists from Denmark. We see on the screen that it's the year 1926 in Copenhagen, Denmark. Einar and Gerda leave the art show together. Gerda jokes about someone saying Einar is one of the top artists. On their way home, someone yells at them from a window to keep it down because it's late. They just laugh and quickly head home. The next day, Gerda is busy painting a man's portrait. At the same time, Einar goes to see their friend, Una Paulsen, who is at her ballet class. Einar says he's giving Gerda some space to paint, because if he stayed around, he'd only distract her. Back at their house, Gerda talks to the man she is painting and tells him that sometimes men are scared of how women look at them. Einar was working on a painting of 5 trees in the woods, a beautiful scene from their town. Einar took his time with his paintings, because he paid a lot of attention to every little detail. He gently touched her clothes, and then they shared a loving moment together. Gerda was working hard on a big portrait of a lady, but she was stuck because her model, Ulla, hadn't shown up yet. To keep going, she asked her husband Einar if he could wear some stockings and shoes so she could paint those parts. Einar was a bit shy about it, but he said yes. Gerda had to show him how to put on the stockings the right way. Then, she asked him to hold up a dress to make it look like it was flowing over the stockings. Right when they were doing this, Ulla finally arrived, carrying some flowers. She was really happy to see Einar helping out as the model, and thought it was funny and sweet. Gerda met with an art collector to show him her paintings and portraits, hoping he might like them, especially the one where she painted the stockings. The collector looked at all her work, but he wasn't very impressed. He told Gerda that drawings of people were very common, and there wasn't anything special about hers. However, he did think Gerda was a talented artist. In the morning, Gerda took advantage of a quiet moment to sketch Einar while he was still sleeping. She chose to draw him in an androgynous style, making it hard to tell whether the sketch was of a man or a woman. This way, the drawing captured something unique about Einar that was neither fully male nor fully female. When Einar woke up, Gerda was there with her sketch pad, and the first thing she did was tell him how beautiful he was. Einar probably felt loved and appreciated, seeing how Gerda saw beauty in him just the way he was. Gerda and I were invited to an event, but Einar didn't want to go because he felt overwhelmed by how much people admired him as an artist. Gerda had a clever idea to help him feel more comfortable. She suggested that Einar could go to the event in disguise as Lily, a persona that would allow him to express a different side of himself. Gerda helped Einar put on makeup, carefully applying it to enhance his features softly and femininely. She also found a wig that suited him perfectly. As they worked together, Einar transformed into Lily before their eyes. He looked in the mirror and felt a rush of joy. Going as Lily, he could enjoy the event in a new way, embracing an identity that felt freeing and exciting. This change allowed him to step into a world where he could be admired in a different light, bringing him delight and a sense of liberation. Lily, feeling a bit alone in the crowd, soon caught the attention of a guest named Henrik Wishaw. Henrik was immediately drawn to Lily's unique presence and isolated her from the rest of the party. As they talked, Henrik started flirting, but Lily responded awkwardly, unaccustomed to this kind of attention. During their conversation, Henrik hinted at wanting to kiss Lily and leaned in closer. Lily, caught off guard, pulled back and reminded him. "You didn't ask," Henrik replied, a bit cheekily. "I didn't want you to refuse." Just then, Gerda walked in and saw them in their awkward attempt at a kiss. Suddenly, Lily began to have a nosebleed, overwhelmed by the situation. She became frightened by the physical response and the intimacy. At home, Gerda is confused. She doesn't understand why the game they were playing went so far. Einar tries to explain that he didn't want to kiss Henrik, but when he was in the mind of Lily, She did so. It was Lily who wanted to, not him. Gerda asks if he has kissed boys before. He says only once, when he was very young with a friend of his. His father saw it happen and got very upset with him. Gerda decided to make this transformation the subject of her new series of paintings. She captured Einar as Lily in various portraits, each one delving deeper into the essence and expression of this alternate persona. When Gerda presented these new works to the art collector who had previously found her subjects too commonplace, he was immediately captivated. The uniqueness and authenticity of the portraits struck a chord with him, and he eagerly proposed organizing an exhibition featuring these works. Excited about the potential of the show, the collector expressed a desire to meet the model who inspired such powerful art. Gerda, protecting Einar's privacy and the delicate balance of their personal lives, told the collector that the model was Einar's cousin, Lily, who had since left town. Meanwhile, at home, Einar continued to grapple with his identity. Alone, he wore Gerda's undergarments, examining his reflection in the mirror, a ritual that seemed to help him connect with Lily's persona. Yet, as he stripped down, he confronted a more profound discontent with his male body. When Gerda arrived home, brimming with excitement from the art collector's enthusiastic praise for her portraits of Lily, she was taken aback to find Einar already dressed as Lily. Seeing Einar's state, and considering his recent physical symptoms like the nosebleeds and his mention of recurrent stomach cramps, which he described as akin to what he imagined menstrual cramps would be like, Gerda suggested they visit a doctor. She was worried that these symptoms, coupled with his deep emotional expressions, pointed to a need for professional guidance. At the doctor's office, Einar found it challenging but necessary to articulate his experiences. He explained that, despite being biologically male, he had always felt like a girl. This mismatch between his gender identity and his physical body was something he had quietly struggled with for a long time. The doctor took detailed notes on both the physical symptoms, such as the nosebleeds, and Einar's explanation of his gender feeling. This visit marked a significant step for both Einar and Gerda, as it opened up a path towards understanding and potentially addressing both the physical and emotional aspects of Einar's experiences. The dialogue between Einar and the doctor was a crucial moment in acknowledging and respecting his gender identity, moving beyond merely treating symptoms to understanding the person as a whole. During her next meeting with the art collector, Gerda received some exhilarating news. All the paintings of Lily had been sold, and there was now significant interest in her work from art representatives in Paris. The collector, impressed by her unique talent and the fresh perspective she brought to her art, encouraged Gerda to move to Paris and pursue a career there as an esteemed artist. Thrilled by this opportunity, Gerda immediately thought of how this could also be a new beginning for Einar. Or rather, Lily. She proposed to Einar that he join her in Paris, not just as her partner but also as her muse. Paris, known for its progressive and artistic communities, could offer them both the freedom and acceptance to explore Lily's identity more openly. Einar, moved by Gerda's support and understanding, agreed. For both of them, moving to Paris represented a hopeful step forward. Their relationship subtly began to shift. While Gerda's career flourished, with Einar continuing to serve as the model for her deeply expressive portraits, there was a growing distance between them, perhaps brought on by their individual journeys of self-discovery and adaptation to their new surroundings. One evening, while Gerda was out, Einar enters a peep show club. Inside, Einar watched a woman performing a striptease. She engaged with him and they copied each other back and forth. This allowed him to explore expressions of femininity in a new, dynamic way. Gerda, seeking further opportunities for her artwork, arranged a meeting with Hans Axkill, a childhood friend of Einar's, who was now a prominent figure in the Paris art scene. Hans, aware of Gerda's recent success and intrigued by her unique subject matter, was eager to meet her and discuss her work. He asked to meet the model, and she tells him it is Einar's cousin, but she is not around. However, she tells Axkill that Einar is waiting for them at home though. One day, when Gerda and Einar were at home, Einar was dressed up as Lily. When Hans came over, Lily started flirting with Hans, who came to visit. Hans was a bit suspicious about who Lily really was. Lily got nervous and suddenly ran away from there. Later, when Gerda joined Hans, he tried to convince himself that Hans didn't figure out Lily's true identity. At an art show where Gerda's paintings of Lily are displayed, Hans, who knows about her husband's identity as a transsexual, tries to kiss Gerda. However, she firmly tells him, "Einar is still my husband," showing her loyalty. This creates an unusual situation where Hans has feelings for Gerda. Gerda is devoted to Einar, and Einar has feelings for Hans. Feeling too much from the situation, Gerda leaves the event, even though it is raining heavily. She chooses not to use an umbrella and walks down the street instead. He told Gerda that he was the childhood friend who had kissed Einar long ago. They were playing pretend, and Einar was wearing his grandma's apron. Hans thought Einar looked pretty and decided to kiss. He was then sent home while Einar's dad violently responded to his son. Gerda and Einar, a couple from Paris, went to see several doctors to figure out Einar's health issues. The first doctor they met suggested a scary treatment involving making holes in Einar's head. The second doctor misunderstood Einar's condition, wrongly thinking he was homosexual. The third doctor left the room during their appointment, and when Einar peeked at the doctor's notes, he found out that the doctor thought he was schizophrenic. Suddenly, the doctor came back with security guards in a straitjacket, trying to catch Einar, but he managed to escape by jumping out of a window. Ulla, who is in Paris, talks to Einar and Gerda about a doctor she knows. This doctor once treated someone who felt just like Einar does. They decide to meet this open-minded doctor. He shares a story about a man who wanted to become a woman and planned to have 2 surgeries. The first surgery was to remove his male parts, and after he got better, the second was to help him become a woman completely. However, the man got too scared and ran away on the day of the surgery. Einar gets really excited and says he wouldn't run away. He bravely decides to go through with what would be the first ever surgery of its kind. Einar is now at the train station ready to go to the hospital for his surgery. Gerda wants to be with him during the surgery, but Einar prefers to be alone. Hans also wishes him good luck. When Einar reaches the hospital, he is very excited. He looks at himself in the mirror and feels happy about what he sees. Instead of wearing his usual wig, he chooses to style his own hair in a feminine way. He is ready for his new beginning. Einar, also known as Lily, talks with her doctor about a surgery she is going to have. She is very excited and jokes about wanting a handsome husband and dreams of having children one day. The doctor tells her that the surgery is going to be very tough, but Lily is ready and says she'll just sleep through it. When the first surgery happens, it is indeed very tough, just like the doctor said. Gerda, Lily's wife, comes unexpectedly to be with her, which makes Lily feel supported, even though she is very tired from the surgery. After the surgery, Lily has to take some special medicine called estrogen, but she needs to remember to not take it all at once. Even though the surgery isn't completely finished and Lily's body is still changing, she starts living fully as a woman. She stops painting and finds a new job as a sales clerk in a store. Lily enjoys giving customers advice on perfume, sharing a special tip she learned in Paris about not putting perfume directly on the skin, but instead spraying it into the air and walking through it. Lily was talking to a man named Henrik, who she had met before. Lily went to Gerda's house and explained to Gerda that she and Henrik were just friends because Henrik liked men. Gerda suggested that they should paint together like old times, but Lily didn't want to because she felt different now and didn't enjoy the same things she did before. She even took medicine to help her feel more like herself, but she took it too soon after the last one, which worried Gerda. Despite Gerda's worry, Lily decided to go ahead with another surgery to help her transition. Gerda didn't think it was a good time for the surgery, but the doctor said it was okay, so Lily went to the hospital. Gerda and their friend Hans were there to support her. However, after the surgery, the doctor had some bad news. The surgery didn't go well, and they were not sure if Lily would recover. Gerda and Hans visit Lily in the hospital's recovery room, where she seems very weak and looks like she's in a lot of pain. Despite this, Lily is smiling and tells them with a quiet voice that she finally feels like herself, the person she was always meant to be. She explains that even though she was born a girl inside, her body didn't match, and that felt like a mistake. To help Lily feel better, Gerda takes her outside in a wheelchair to get some fresh air away from the hospital room. Lily is really happy to be outside, even though she is still very sick. Sadly, even with her happiness, Lily dies soon after, leaving Gerda very sad and alone. In the last part of the story, Hans and Gerda walk together through the landscapes of Denmark. They stop near 5 trees that Einar, who Lily used to be, had painted at the beginning of the story. The wind blows Gerda's scarf away, but when Hans tries to get it back, Gerda tells him to let it go. The scarf flies up into the sky over the beautiful scenery that Einar loved to paint. This shows that Lily is finally free and happy, just like the scarf floating freely in the wind.